Suddenly there was a rumble. As it grew louder, all motion stopped, and boys from both teams looked skyward. Above was a squadron of fighter jets on their way to an air show miles away in Atlanta. The aircraft came closer, so that the boys could make out the markings on the wings and the white helmets of the pilots in the cockpits. Then, with a roar loud enough to rattle the change in a person's pockets, the jets shot off in different directions like an exploding firework. The players on the home team, a group of 13 and 14-year-old boys from the nearby Atlanta suburbs, playing with the North Atlanta Soccer Association, gestured toward the sky with awe. The boys at the other end of the field were members of an all-refugee soccer team called the Fugees. Many had actually seen fighter jets in action, and all had felt the results of war firsthand. There were Sudanese players on the team whose villages had been bombed, and Liberians who'd lived through mortar fire that pierced the roofs of their neighbors' homes, taking out whole families. As the jets flew over the field, several members of the Fugees flinched. What do you think the refugee boys were thinking as the planes flew over? I can only imagine the fear that some of them may have been feeling. There was someone who was there for the boys to help them through the change of living in a strange country and who would not give up on them. Do you have someone in your life that has never given up on you? Luma is a woman that did just that. She coached the refugee team and never gave up on them. The boys were from war-torn countries and had fled violence and chaos to come to the United States, which had completely different values and customs than their own countries. How would you feel if you were forced out of your country and had to live in a place you were not familiar with? The only way these boys knew how to build relationships was through soccer. Soccer was something the boys from 12 different countries had in common. They would play in parking lots, and they were good. Luma noticed the boys playing and began building relationships with them and became their coach. She wasn't your ordinary coach. She was tough. She expected the boys to look, act, and play a certain way. The area these boys lived in was full of gangs, and Luma didn't want them to get caught up in gang activity, so she decided to start a soccer team. Coaching a soccer team full of refugees in Clarkston, Georgia was not easy. Luma found out she would have to stand up and fight for these boys in order for them to be able to continue being a team. Luma dealt with the boys' personal issues as well as her own. There were times when she didn't know what she was going to do in order to survive herself, let alone to help make sure the boys continued having a team and a safe place to go. Gangs, fear, rejection, not having a safe place for the team to practice are just a few of the things the boys and Luma had to deal with. Through all the adversity, Luma was able to make a difference in the lives of these boys and in the lives of so many people in the town. Read Outcasts United, the story of a refugee soccer team that changed the town, by Warren St. John, to see just how much Luma cared about these boys and all she did to make a difference in their lives and in the town.